Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday edition of Coffee with Coultin. It is 5:44 a.m. here in beautiful northern Utah. It is a balmy 27 degrees today. And you may see to my right that I have a very special guest with me all the way from Philadelphia-ish area.
Close enough.
I really wanted to get a 76ers fan on for episode 76.
Wow,
So
didn't even realize it was episode 76. Look at that.
here we are. Matt, thank you so much for joining me, brother.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me. And it's a balmy 36 degrees here, but we have a lot of snow on the way apparently, so that'll be fun.
36, but 36 on the East Coast feels so cold.
Well, yesterday was like 19, so
Yeah, that's brutal. Yeah,
So-
19 here. Like if I put on like a sweater, I'm fine. But yeah, you go back east and it's different.
Yeah.
We don't have snow in Utah this year. Interesting story.
Yeah, it's funny. We barely had any snow the last, I want to say 3-4 years, maybe 6 inches a year. But previous to that, we would get at least one storm that dumped on us. We would always be over 15, 20 inches. This year seems like it's coming back with a vengeance, El Nino and all that nonsense. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see what happens here. But Utah, you guys are used to snow. It snows. It has snowed there historically. People know how to handle themselves.
Yeah,
when it snows on the East Coast and you're like south of Boston, everybody just fucking panics still. I don't understand. Like they go to the market and like take all the food off the shelves and I don't know. So the panic has set in. People are taking all the food off the shelves already. We're still 3 days away from the storm even starting. We don't know what the final totals are, and you have to go to like Costco just to like find some food to stock your house with. So I'll probably run out tomorrow or something. I'll go to Costco, a nice little Friday night outing, and grab a few things, and that'll be that. I never buy into the hype. It's snow, whatever.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Yep. Just don't go driving; you'll be fine.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about something I could talk about for a long time, but we'll try to keep it brief, and that is parallels.
Yeah, that's good.
I am in love with parallels, and nobody paid me to say that. I know that just sounded like a like a sponsored thing to say or something.
Well, one thing I can tell you is, I'm here.
Shouldn't be mine.
Test. Hold on.
Anyone in the chat hearing echo?
Is it fixed? There we go. Okay. What I was going to say was, if you go to, while we're on the topic of parallels, let's start with a Fandom Galactic.
Okay.
So let's do Galactic and Top Shot this for set. Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So let's just go to the Steph, for example.
I was a proud holder of this moment. I traded it.
And let's go to interactive so you can really see what I'm talking about here. Now, this is part of getting this whole pipeline ready to go and working properly, and it's a work in progress. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on, but all right. So you see how it all the movement around the border there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So if you go to like TopScript or Hollow, you may not see it as vividly. And
We
so
talked.
one
We
thing we're
talked
working,
about that actually.
yeah, so basically what's going on there is the pipeline for different tiers is different. And so everything has to get built to the same way. And um, it's funny because the amount of movement here, I don't think was 100% intentional. But when we first saw it in the product, we were like, oh my God, why aren't all of them doing this? This looks incredible. Because like movement, you can see like the background that was always part of it, and that the border was going to oscillate. But like this idea of like all the movement around it was not. Oh, oh, my echo's back again. I don't know if it's me or you. It's causing the echo.
It can be me. I haven't.
Hopefully it's not
I
me.
haven't.
Anyway, so we're working on making sure that all of the parallels have this, and not just galactic. I mean, like all the parallels. So like the hex wave will do it, and the jukebox will do it. Okay, yeah, it's showing now. Good.
This wasn't. So is this a recent update?
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. We're working on making sure that everything looks consistent across tiers. Because like I said, every tier has like a different pipeline where it's, common, fandom, rare, legendary, ultimate, each have a different pipeline to get these things built with, if you think about the cube, every part of it is a component. And so when you're rendering these cubes, every single panel is its own thing. And like if you click on the panels flip over.
Yep.
And like so, all these things, it all plays into it. And so the cage around the moment is obviously different for each tier. So just making sure that we have that consistency across, and trying to get Hexwave to start having this sort of movement, and Jukebox, and blockchain, and Hardcourt will have it to a lot lesser degree, because we always want to make sure that as the parallel gets more scarce, it looks that much cooler. So just working through getting all those going. But like Hexwave, I think your personal fave right now, when you pull it into interactive, you don't have that sort of movement around it, but as you play the moment, you start seeing the gold shimmering and moving around. And so that movement is just such an important part of the parallels that I don't think we have been able to show as well as we want to. And so interactive shows it. The problem with interactive is it doesn't load quickly enough, so we don't have it as default. We're working through some challenges there with the Unity build to make sure that people can load them up super quickly and play with them. Because to me, this is one of the things that we are missing, and that Pinnacle has done such a good job on, is it feels tangible. It feels like a thing you can play with. It feels like ownership. Whereas before this existed on Top Shot, everything was flat, for lack of a better term. Everything was not really tangible. So
Right.
it all it really plays into that whole thing.
It's literally like, I don't know, 3 episodes ago, I think it was actually last weekend, I was talking about how I had the Steph, I traded it for the Larry. I got in touch with somebody that pulled the Larry, I traded it. And I was like, I said, it seems like the Steph looked more galactic, but now, the Larry is doing more. So kudos, nice, thank you.
Yeah. So wanted to call that out, that it's a work in progress. So the parallels could start looking even cooler than they currently do, which has always been part of it. But the other thing is like the marketplace view. On all these parallels. I think creative got tired of hearing me say it, but every time they would send it to me, like they, it's an animation. So like the way it's shimmering is just like an animation. Same thing that happens with Hexwave and anything else. You can see it shimmering. And when they first, provided a lot of these, the backgrounds were pretty clear in the static version. So what you're seeing here, and I was like, no. I want you to turn it up to 11. Shout out to all you Spinal Tap fans out there.
Yeah.
Every time they presented one, I said turn it up to 11, which is how they got this look in the marketplace and the shadow box sort of feel with the really prominent borders and the full background of Hexwave. That was just me saying, hey, we got to turn it to 11. It has to be so strikingly different on the marketplace, or else this doesn't work properly.
Right.
And we're able to strike that balance and get it to look the way it does now, which is really awesome.
Yeah. I love how they like the MGLE hex waves are my favorite for sure. How they work together.
Yeah, I mean, when we were working through, Sam especially was working with our creative team on like what the parallels would look like. Hexwave, the first time he saw it, we were like, oh, this is MGLA, this is perfect. Will there be separate set rewards or recognition for parallel set? Oh, good question.
So I was talking to Steve about this last night. Like, there's an opportunity here.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about it?
Yeah, we have talked about it. So, I mean, the way it currently works is you can use any parallels or standard to complete a set. So, like if you have, 10 standard marquee and you have, 7 Hexwave and 3 jukebox, you have the complete set. In terms of like, hey, if I get the entire set in Hexwave or I get the entire set in jukebox, is there anything separate there? As of right now, no, but that's something that we're actively talking about and seeing what we can do. But yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn because nothing is confirmed there. But definitely conversation that we have had. We decided at the beginning of the season because we really didn't know, how well the parallels would be received, that we didn't want to go too far down that just in case. We didn't want to like lock ourselves into too many different things, but it's definitely something that we are actively discussing and figuring out how we can potentially reward that, because that's the kind of collecting we absolutely wanted all along. But we've had so many instances in the past where we have provided rewards and incentives, and it becomes more about the reward or incentive than collecting the set. And so we just wanted to be really careful, and not just with sets, I mean, with every different thing in Top Shot. So we just wanted to kind of see things out and see how it was going, but definitely something that's on the radar and potentially something that will get a lot more love in the future now that, it's sort of been proven out as something that people enjoy. It certainly makes pack rips a hell of a lot more fun. Before you would just hit like the regular season tip off, like, oh, I got the season tip off. Now you have like an actual hit for every moment that comes out. And so it makes the pack opening experience so much more fun and rewarding. And I'm glad to see that. But in terms of, a full set of hex waves, it should be rewarded, and we need to figure out what that is.
Yeah. I think what I think is going to start happening is I think people are going to start to identify a parallel that they like and almost live in that parallel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, and each parallel is going to become like its own little micro economy or ecosystem. Like,
yep,
we're kind of in the weeds, but like I'm already planning on completing a rare set in Hexwave. I just haven't decided which one, but jukebox is a little bit out of my price range, so I'm not probably ever going to be too into jukebox. But like, there's certainly going to be 10 collectors that become obsessed with jukebox and want all the jukebox moments. And I'm to the point where I'm not more interested in the parallel than the player, but like it's equal for me. I'm like, if I can get a moment that's a hex wave, so I know there's only 25, like that's my first like thing that I'm looking at.
Yeah, and it's a great point. And part of the genesis of this we actually had a meeting in Chicago, a group of us, to start discussing the NBA season, and I presented basically a mood board of all my favorite parallels in cardboard. And so I had stained glass and I had tie dye and I had like all this, all this stuff that I personally will collect the same way you were just talking about with like, hey, I don't care who's on the stained glass, who's on or Net Marvels, or I think that's what it's called, where it looks like a comic book. Like,
Yes.
I don't care who the player is necessarily. I just know I want that entire set because it looks amazing. Or that entire set in the parallel. I know I want that, and so that was like part of what we looked at. And so you're starting to see that we, especially with the legendaries, we added the background behind the player on the hollow icon, and Top Script has all sorts of cool things going on, and we've talked about having our own version of like a manga card or anime card where there's going to be like an animated player on it, and I won't tell you which set we're talking about that for, but it is being worked on. And so trying to bring in all those things that are super cool, that the art can kind of stand on its own or excite people, because for the whole course of Top Shot, you had the player panel, which was untouched, was just a photo that you can kind of find anywhere, and you had a set art panel that was unchanged. And then we introduced parallels and basically just changed the set art a little bit, but still didn't touch the player panel. And if you look at any card that exists, they don't have a set panel. It's the player panel that looks cool, that changes. And so that was the big pivot we needed to make, where, hey, people don't need to see the set art panel changing. The set art is the set art. People want to see cool stuff with the player. We worked with our partners and we presented a deck, and they were on board, and here we are. But the seeds of this can be seen back to last season, when we did the special expert challenge reward treatments. That was kind of like the first test of like, hey, how far can we push this? And then obviously we took it to the next level this season.
Yeah, it's working. It's going. I think pricing is all over the place, and I don't think that a lot of collectors have the patience to really wait to let the parallel market establish itself, which is why I wish I was filthy rich, because I would be buying all of the Galactics, all of the Omegas. I mean, the Omega is a 1 of 1.
Yeah, the Omegas are so sick.
And I mean, that's what I don't know what it should sell for, but like, when the moment that I see Nerja buy one for $280, I'm going to jump out of this window.
Yeah, see, this is an interesting thing that like we see happen quite often is people will, let's say they buy a $5 pack or they buy a $10 pack and they hit something like this. They're not looking to make 10 or $2, $5, $10,000. They're looking to make a few $100 because that is a huge X on what they paid for it. And so a lot of this stuff you're going to find in box toppers and case toppers and cases and all that kind of stuff. And when there is a higher amount paid, there is a lot less inclination to floor something. And I and you see this with Topps and Panini and all of them. Like the best of the best stuff is typically in sets where to buy a box, it's in Flawless and National Treasures, and in baseball there's Museum Collection and Tier 1 and and Triple Threads and all these like high-end sets, and that's where you see like the really, really crazy cards. And so it's so important to make sure that you know, we don't just put all these in chases and hopefully people are like, oh, I gotta go got a $5 pack. Now we'd rather people are getting their money's worth when they're paying up. And with price points of 250 and 2,500, it's just so important to make sure that people are getting their money's worth and having fun doing it. And I saw you in the chat last night. That case break was just absolutely insane, and that was so important to our strategy this season, that somebody could get a box or a case and just have these insane rip after rip after rip, and show it off and get excited about it and get their friends excited about it. That was so missing in the past.
Yeah. This is a good question that me and a few others have had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, man, bane of my existence. I feel like I've been, harping on this internally for years at this point. It's one of those things where there have been ideas that were basically greenlit, and then for whatever reason, it didn't make it into product. But this is something that we talk about probably as much, if not more, than the community, and debate and figure out like what the right thing to do is. We've talked about, hey, it should just be, if somebody doesn't have a TSS, it should get the TSS of the lowest TSS of a similar. So basically, an example like the Bezelis Mojo, if there is no TSS on it for the Omega, and another Omega has sold, anything that doesn't have a TSS, we get the TSS of that Omega. There were some issues there. Then it was like, oh, what if we just have like a flat TSS based on tier? Then there were issues there because like that doesn't necessarily tell the story, because like you have scarce parallels that are rare that could be worth more than a legend. So at this point, before this season, we had very few moments that didn't have TSS. Now they're stacking up again, and now it's becoming like a big discussion again. So I genuinely believe that we're going to get that resolved. So I'm hoping before the end of the season, those will all have TSS, even if there hasn't been a sale, because we don't want to get into a situation where people are like, hey, I need to sell this so I can get TSS. And quite frankly, like TSS in product now helps with the amount of packs that you can put in for, and obviously helps on the locked set board, lock team and player boards. So it's super important that these are getting the proper value, because we're giving so much value back to these leaderboard leaders. And if they have the best moment of a player, they should be getting rewarded for it. But then there's the devil's advocate side of it. It's like, hey, if you pulled a Bezelis Omega and you're not a Bezelis fan, like, why are we going to skyrocket you to the top of the Bezelis board, giving a random TSS or a TSS based on something else? Then there's, a fairness issue to the people on the board that are actively collecting that player. And so there's so many things that go into these decisions to make sure that we're not rocking the boat or causing, second and third degree effects. And so I think that's why we've been so careful with it in the past, but something that is talked about often.
If it to that devil's advocate point, I would tell that person that is crying, too bad, because it helps. If you're a Bezelis collector, it only helps you when somebody pulls and locks the Omega. If you can't get it, like me locking the Lowry, I didn't move anywhere on the Jazz leaderboard, but like my guy Elf Frampton and Lincoln Cannon, like they're stoked to see that moment get locked up, because now they know there's only going to be 4 available. And I'm in talks with the person that holds number 3.
Ooh,
there's some potential negotiation that might be happening. So
love it. We had 2 Laurie hollows last night.
I know. It's a badass moment from a game I was at.
Oh, that's awesome.
From the Cooper Flag 42-point game.
Hmm. So yeah, we're working through it. I'm hopeful we'll get that done. But yeah, that's been talked about since Series 4 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had somebody message me and ask me what they thought. They pulled an Omega, and I was like, dude, I don't think that you could sell it now for X amount, but I don't think that the market has really stabilized on what the value on these should be.
100%. I think it's sort of a waiting game, waiting to see like the dominoes fall. I think once a couple start selling, we'll start seeing a lot more. Obviously, it really hasn't. A lot of them are still in packs, but the ones that have been pulled, it's an out of one, so people are treating it as such, which I'm really personally happy to see. Like, I don't want Omegas to sell for $100 or $200. I'd rather them not sell at all than sell too cheaply.
Mm-hmm.
And they are true collector's items. And especially when you get them in the interactive, you can
Yeah.
really see them in all their glory. And we had to be really careful with Omega, with Hollow and Top Script and Mojo, because like our legendary sets just have so much going on,
Yeah.
and
Hollow
it's
Icon is busy.
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot going on, but um, when you get into interactive, you can kind of see the machinery in the Omega, and it really feels like super futuristic and like
Mm-hmm.
textured and super cool. So it's a delicate balance of making it look good in the marketplace, but also making sure it looks unbelievable when you really take a deep look at it and watch the video.
So I had another question for you, um, and I hate to put you on the spot.
Do it.
Um, VJ is a dog. He's the man. Okay, here's my question. Look at how badass this thumbnail looks. I'm talking about the MGLE jukebox, Bahamas bucket. Now, maybe I'm crazy, but I want that autograph right there the entire time.
On the video.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are ongoing conversations about this, about putting overlays on the video. We did a test on this. I believe it was video game numbers last season with the expert challenge. We had like a border on the video that was there like the
And
entire
it
video.
and
It
it
was like,
pulse and it pulses with the music.
yeah, see that's the kind of stuff we want to do. We had an idea for a set. I think it was in the 23-24 season where it was going to have all sorts of overlays. There were going to be guys shooting threes, and like the hoop would turn into like an ocean, and it would like splash
That'd be
water, and
so
like
sick.
and so like we put together examples of what it would be and sent it to the league, and we weren't able to get it over the finish line. And so those talks are still continuing. And so, that's definitely something that we want to do, and you're going to see a lot more of. We want to like overlay scoreboards for the win, so people can see the game situation. We want to like add that kind of stuff into moments. And so putting overlays over moments is an ongoing conversation and not as simple as it should be, but definitely something that we want to bring more into the product. And the autograph. So my original ask for the autograph was that it would be directly on the moment, like directly on the player panel. And as you can see, all the autographs are on the glass.
Mm-hmm.
I personally hate the glass. I always have, and I want the glass to go, and I want the autograph to be on that directly on that player panel, because like that to me is the way it's like that view right there. Go back to that last one. Like you can see the outline of the glass there. Like I want that gone. I want it directly on there. Yeah, exactly. So like to me, the glass is sort of been this overlay. So like when you go to the score like when you go to the score panel, like that's part of the glass over. Yeah, that's like on the glass. And so just trying to find different ways to, that panel to me has always looked kind of meh. Like there's so much more that we can do with the scoreboard. Obviously, it's not a top priority to make the scoreboard look great, but when we get rid of the glass, I think it opens up a lot of cool design things that we can do. We can put like the player name directly on the moment and have different stylizations. The original idea for the very first Origin set was every player image should be like a comic book image with like their name written like it would be in a comic book directly on the player image and not have the name on the glass. And it just didn't work out for a variety of reasons. But that's definitely like where we want to get to, where there's no glass, everything is directly on the image, and then once you get into the video, there's cool overlays that we can do all sorts of crazy stuff with. And once we break through that barrier, you're going to start seeing even crazier stuff popping up in the product. And I feel like we've gotten to a point where some people just don't even watch the moments anymore. It's going to be must watch, and so that's where we need to get to.
I love that. I at least 3 times a week think about a NBA Jam collab set.
I talk about that all the time.
I mean, that would be the most incredibly cool, like, yeah. But it sounds like you guys are closer on that stuff than I thought.
Yeah, like that was part of it. Like when like the LeBron hollow last year where he hit back to back threes. And I said this to the team. I was like, can you imagine if on the third three the hoop
fire
like an NBA Jam, like he's on fire, and we had like an overlay, he's on fire, and like when the ball goes through the hoop it turns into a fireball. Like, can you imagine if we were able to do that kind of stuff? And everybody's like, oh my god. And so like that's where we need to get to, is being able to do that kind of stuff, because that's going to make it so like these are true, like the whole argument, oh, you can watch these on YouTube, you can watch these on X, like we need to get to a point where like that argument just sounds silly. And honestly, we have unique cuts of all these plays, so like you're not going to find exactly what we have anywhere else, but you can go watch the play in other places, of course. But once we start getting overlays in and can do all sorts of cool editing and stuff to official NBA videos, now we're getting into an area where we're really starting to separate ourselves.
So since we're so far into the weeds, I might as well just ask the next question that I had for you, which is how possible is it, or how close are we to being able to have a hybrid of like this thumbnail, but also this infographic? You saw, I DM'd you an idea with this. I see Bayou Sniper. Look at his profile picture. It's his Derek Queen jukebox. Cut to the point, right? When can we get our serial numbers on the cube?
For the like the specific moment. Yeah. So like if you scroll down, and we definitely that's part of like the overlay conversation. So go to see all moments in the edition. Further down, you were there in the middle there on the left side where it says just click on any of the numbers on the left side. Okay, so now you're on the specific page for the number 3. For the number 3 jukebox. This is where it should be showing number 3 on the moment. It should be overlaid. This is part of those overlay conversations that we're able to show, what the serial number is, and show if it's a special cereal and all that kind of stuff. It kind of all goes together. It's all part of the same conversations. And so, we're constantly pushing on, okay, how far can we push this? What can we try now? And that's all part of that conversation to put things on the actual video.
So it's definitely being talked about.
Yes, like who owns it, what the cereal is, how many. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Frampton's got it. Yeah, those are definitely all things that are being discussed.
Banana. Speaking of serial numbers, when can we have specials that are listed for sale displayed on the marketplace without having to open the moment and scroll?
Yeah, so this is something that I've talked to Neil and others about, getting it to look the way it does on the marketplace. In the meantime, I can show you a sort of way around it. So if you go to market, and you guys may already know about this, but going to show you anyway, just
Live
in case.
feed, live listings.
Live listings.
Yep. And special cereals.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Not parallels, but yeah, special cereals.
You went too far. Yeah. And then in that search bar, you can search for any player or set or team or anything, and it'll filter out the other stuff. So if you're looking for Grady's Dick special series, so none of these are available. They've all been purchased or delisted. But you can search this way, which is actually a lot quicker to find what you're looking for in terms of special cereals than the way it's done on All Day. But this is the way I've been doing it, because I have been looking for special cereals. This to me is actually much quicker and easier than just seeing it on the marketplace and scrolling through, because you can look for a very specific player or a very specific moment. Yeah, so that filter should be in your collection now, but we need to get all these.
I don't think it is.
Is it? Oh, maybe it hasn't been shipped to everybody yet. Let me just double check.
Because I had to use Live Token the other day to compare I use the groups.
Yeah.
And I was trying to update this.
Oh yeah, the filter hasn't been updated in the collection. That's coming. That's coming. I've seen it. It's coming.
Sweet.
That's what I could say.
Okay.
The filter and live listing is coming everywhere.
And it would be sweet too if we could add specific cereal. There's a lot of people that collect specific cereals that aren't special, like 13 or 69.
Well, you can do that on live listings as well.
No, I know. I'm talking about in our collection.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know how to find my 13s. Trust me.
Yeah. I mean, my area code's 856, so I always take a peek and see if there's 856s out there. And then, there's a couple other numbers I'll look at every once in a while if there's something out there for $1 or $2, because there's a couple 4-digit cereals I like for various life reasons. That I'll try to grab Sixers moments in. But yeah, live listings is exactly the type of filtering we want to see across the whole product. And now that we see that those filters are working, we're going to move them to other places.
Something that I really like about live listings is, every morning, like my pals that are on here with me every morning, we have like boo sound effects, and we get all mad when we see Nerja buying like a sweet cereal for $12.
Yeah.
When live listings gets more like commonly used, it's going to be a really nice way for somebody that's trying to sell a moment quick without accepting Nerja's crazy lowball offer. No offense to Nerja. It's just,
Well, I think what happens is people get an email when they get an offer, or they get a notification in the app that they got an offer, and they're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I didn't realize I was going to make that much, because it's higher than what the offer was when I looked earlier. Cool, I'm just going to accept it. I don't think they go and do their research and look at what other ones are going for or what they can potentially get for it. They're like, oh, instant money, cool, I'm going to take it. And we've seen that throughout the history of Top Shot, where people who don't really know what they have necessarily are, see dollar signs and like, all right, cool, I'll move off of it.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is NBA knowledge. I think part of it is Top Shot knowledge. At the end of the day, it's like, hey, I want this thing, and this guy is giving me the money I need to go buy that thing. I'm going to take it so I can go get that thing. And that's what drives sales in any collectible. Like, you see my wall here, I'm in all sorts of Facebook groups and Reddit groups and like all sorts of different places so I could, go and get all the ones that, I'm missing and get all the chase versions and, work out trades. I've sent these extras I've had to the UK in exchange for things that I need. And so like, it's just very much part of collecting culture. That if I have an opportunity to sell something, it may not be for top dollar, but if I have an opportunity to sell something and it gets me something else I want, I'm going to do it. And everybody has different motivations. So I try not to judge too harshly. Every now and then there's one that's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think it's within a range, an acceptable range, where if I am looking at a moment that's $50 and I'm getting offered $150 for a moment I paid $10 for, it's like a no-brainer for me to get that 150, grab a couple things that I want, and have some extra cash left over for something in the future. So as a collector, that's probably how I would think, because so often, I mean, I have stacks of slabs here of quarterbacks and NBA players that just didn't pan out. And, I decided I was going to hold because I thought they were going to turn into something, and then that would get me something I wanted in the future. And sometimes it doesn't go that way. So
Right.
if the irons, you got to strike while the iron's hot sometimes. So I'll never blame anybody, but every once in a while, in our DMs together on Slack, I'll link a sale that happens and goes, what the hell were they thinking?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of it's personal preference and not knowing what people are going for. And it would be interesting if people were like, oh, I sold this so I could grab this, because that tells the story of like why you would do it, instead of like being looked at as like a crazy person.
Yeah. Do you know that there is really, really good space right here for a fourth moment and right here for a fifth moment?
Yeah, so we're actually working through a rework of the profile that's going to allow a lot more customization and display.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'll leave you alone on that
No,
one then.
it's a great point. Like 3 was never enough. I think originally when it shipped, we were, because the original design had, I want to say 5 slots, because there was a starting 5, but
Yeah.
then it turned into just like a carousel on mobile, and it was like kind of weird. And then we were like, oh well, why don't we make those extra slots earnable through the product? And then that didn't happen, and so
That
it's
would have
just been,
been badass.
yeah, so now it's just been stuck at 3 for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So definitely need to get an upgrade there. Lon's one of our amazing product designers who's been around forever. Has started sharing some new designs that look really, really amazing. And so we're going to start seeing a much more dynamic profile.
Hell yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
It would be cool too if there was a quicker way to get to sets, but that's kind of
A quicker way to get to sets.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but we talked about this yesterday. This is nice.
Cost of complete. We just got that added in. Yeah,
That's sweet.
yeah, very much needed.
Yeah. Look how close I am to MGLE.
Got a ways to go. Yeah, it's interesting when you look at the sets in like this sort of view. It's like, oh, okay.
I can do that. Yeah.
And then I love how, like, if you have the full set, it shows like the locking status, but it doesn't show that unless you have it complete, which makes sense to me. Like if you scroll down to like one of those sets you had completed,
right? except for let's see. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can see, okay, I have this whole set, but I don't have the whole set locked. Let me go in there and lock it. That was very helpful for like set rewards and whatnot. But yeah. Oh, that Anthony Black, man.
What a moment. Yeah.
Top tier thumbnail right there.
Potentially the best thumbnail on Top Shot. Top
And
3.
Certainly in the conversation. I feel like there are better ones based on the
context of
the context, the gravity of the moment.
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
terms of like pure image, has to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I wish that
One of my favorites is the Doug McDermott hitting the button to light the beam.
Yeah.
So that one was me just pushing for the sake of pushing to see how far we could go. It's one of the first moments where we blacked out the background and got it approved. Because that moment got denied, like that image got denied like 4 times, and I wasn't giving up. And so I said to Sam, I said, just cut the whole crowd out. If they have a problem with the crowd being seen, just cut the whole crowd out and send it back in and let's see what they say. And they sent it in like that, and boom, approved. And that was like, okay, we can do stuff here to make these look better, and they're going to approve it. We now have broken through that barrier. So let's see what we can do now. And so obviously we've taken it to, 100 now, but this moment was was a catalyst for us being able to do stuff to the backgrounds, removing crowds, blurring crowds, to get the images we really wanted, that had been denied in the past because like you could see kids or you could see people's faces too clearly in the crowd. And this was like our aha moment, like, oh, we can make changes to the image to make sure that we can get it through approvals. And this Doug McDermott was the catalyst to start doing a lot more of that, leading to much better thumbnails.
Interesting. Look how giant his hand looks.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that being able to see faces would be, I guess it makes sense, but
if you go through any moment, maybe back in series 1 or 2 they weren't so crazy about it, but you're gonna have a hard time finding any moment where you can very clearly see somebody's face in the crowd.
Wow, interesting. But there's cards where you can see people clear as day. I wonder how they get past it.
It's a great question. I sometimes I do feel like we're held to different standards, but we're starting to break through those barriers little by little. And obviously, cards have been around forever in basketball. Like I was just looking at like my old Skybox and NBA hoops and all that stuff. Like you could see the crowd forever. And I think because we were a new product, they were like, hey, we don't want showing the crowd. It's already like become if you look at a lot of new cards though, like very few have the crowd showing in them anymore. They're all zoomed in now. So maybe this is just like a newer thing. Yeah, you can see the crowd clear as day on that one. Yeah, I have plenty where you can see. Let me see here. I was actually just looking at a bunch, but like, I was going through a box of cards I got from breaks in 21, 22, but like a lot of cards are starting to do this where like it's either media day or everything is blacked out in the background.
The media day cards are so corny.
Like you can see, like I got this Tops Now when Schwarber hit his 50th. I don't know if you can see it, but every single person in the crowd is blurred. So this is something that's changed more recently in cards. I really think they are going an extra mile, all Tops, Panini, whatever, to not show the crowd. First documented effect. The most famous, one of the most famous cards is for the Menendez brothers and the Mark Jackson card where they're sitting courtside. I don't think the NBA wants more of that type of stuff happening. I saw a question from Bayou a little bit earlier that I wanted to. Yes. So the first ones should be coming out in the next drop in February, and then they will be in basically every drop remaining for the rest of the season spread out. So those will be coming. They are starting to look pretty amazing. And
can you clarify for the people that aren't totally clear on what Bayou's talking about here?
Oh yeah, for sure. So in the roadmap, we talked about a set called Signature Series, which is a set of one-of-ones of rookies. We made deals with several rookies, as you have all seen. You can see autographs on like the jukebox parallels and the hardcore parallels, depending on the tier. But we have a lot of inscriptions from these players that are one-of-one inscriptions, and number one on the leaderboard for several of these players are going to get these Signature Series one-of-one ultimates from their rookie season. And so there are going to be multiple ways to get them, and it's going to be just a really cool way, because one of the big things that led to this becoming a set was the conversation of, hey, we have these rookie rules where once a player's rookie season's over, we're never going back to that season. And we looked at last season, and we looked at Wemby, and we looked back in time, and it's like, some of these guys had unbelievable seasons and did crazy stuff, and we only got 4 moments. We only got 4 total plays from this player's rookie year, and we've made the promise that we're never going back to their rookie year. And so we wanted to make sure that we were getting in the best of the best stuff from the player's rookie season. Rookies are so collectible and so awesome. We wanted to make sure that we were getting more than just a couple plays in, especially for the best of the best players. But we didn't want to do it in a way that like completely destroyed the scarcity of the player. We wanted to do it in a special way. And this was, what we were able to come up with. And, as you all have seen, like the amount of rookie moments is like cut drastically, especially with like the cut down on rookie debut, 25% of what it used to be. And so it was just really important for us to make sure that we got out as much as many different plays from the player's rookie season, because we're never going to revisit it. Once the rookie season's over, you're never getting another rookie again from these players. So in the Top Shot era, talking, Series 1, 1920 season, if a player got a rookie in that season, they're never getting another rookie moment. And so, that is such an important part of our scarcity promise and such an important part of the value of rookies, that we just felt it was so important to get another set in there, that we were able to get the best of the best plays that we weren't able to get elsewhere. And so, things happen during the season where, hey, MGLE just is out and we're getting rookies in there, and Origins is out and we're getting rookies in there, and then we're going to get freshman gems out, and then we have rookie rev. If we get rookie rev out and something happens after that like breaks the internet and we don't have a place to put it, it's like, oh my God, what have we done? We're never going to be able to get that in. Now we have a place to do that for the best of the best players. And to me, that was extremely important to have that sort of safety valve to make sure that we were capturing the player's rookie season the best we possibly could.
Except Supernova, right?
Supernova is for MVPs.
Right, but they're from rookie seasons.
From the first career game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the only, so once a player's named an MVP, they could receive, that's the only time, is what I'm clarifying, right?
Only from the pre-Top Shot era, because the players who were during the Top Shot era from Series 2 on, basically Series 1 2, I guess, we have stuff from Series 2 on, we have the rookie premiere, so we have moments from their first game already, so you'd be very unlikely to see them.
Oh yeah,
it would have to be like a Ja or a Zion who had a rookie, but it wasn't from their first career game in Series 1, got an MVP, then we would be able to get a supernova of them. But Wemby can't get a supernova, and because he's got a one-of-one ultimate from his first career game, so we would never do a supernova of that. We already have that play. So this is really the players that predate Top Shot, and won MVP. Like Shea, his rookie year was prior to the 1920 season.
Yeah.
And we never captured his first career game. So we got it in there. We got an origins moment for him before he was named MVP, but it wasn't from his first career game. Once he got MVP, he was eligible for Supernova because we'd had nothing from his first career game.
Got it. That makes sense. Got it. I had one other question and I lost it.
Should we talk about set challenges?
Yeah, let's please. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So obviously we put out a blog.
Yeah, I'm going
about this.
to it now.
Oh yeah, perfect.
There's something people are missing on here.
Yeah. This was one of the things we talked about for the longest time in the off season. And if you want to direct the hate, if you don't like it, direct it toward me, because I was definitely the driver on this decision, but would love to kind of go through the thought process of how we wound up here. Since Series 1, it has been the Top Shot way to don't tell everyone. It's been the Top Shot way to, hey, go get all these moments to get another moment reward. And while there are positives to that, there were also a lot of negatives. And so the positive was, hey, I'm getting a really scarce moment for collecting the set. That's really awesome. It's going to be valuable. The downside is anybody that is coming in potentially late or down the road and wants to collect the set, collecting the set has now became so difficult. And it came to a head last season with Hollow Icon, where the first challenge, I think only 17 people completed. And because of that, it had a chilling effect on wanting to collect the set at all, because you would have to get this Tyrese Halliburton that people were trying to sell for $5,000 or whatever the number was. Especially when the LeBron ECR was announced, I think it was Wemby.
Steph last year.
I'm thinking 2 years ago. Yeah. So Steph last year. And so like it became this thing where it was like, oh, so if I wasn't collecting that first drop of Hollow Icon, I'm basically beat on Hollow Icon for the whole season. And that's a terrible feeling. And like people started feeling that on common sets. And that's when it was like, all right, we got to change something here, because if a common set is not a set that people are able to collect, we're doing something wrong. And Who Vision, that Donovan Mitchell bottleneck is still $35. And it's prohibitive for certain people that want to complete the set, and like they love going and grabbing stuff for $2, $3, $4, $5. $35 is potentially a lot of different moments for them. And so we were thinking through, like, how do we make it so it's still rewarding? How do we provide instant gratification? And how do we have a reward that gives present and future benefits? And so what we used to see with set rewards is there's this huge pump as people are trying to complete the challenge, and then the challenge ends. And then, the way it worked previously was when you didn't have to lock it, you just did it, you got the reward, and then you sold the whole thing off and everything tanked, and the pump and dump sort of thing happened. So we introduced locking into set challenges, and that prevented the dumping part of it and kept the values up high, but it was sort of like a fake floor because people were doing it just to get the reward, and then they were selling off the reward, and then they're like, okay, I have the rest of the set, but then they would just burn it and use it for other things. And it wasn't about collecting the set, it was about making money on the reward, or making money in the build up to people getting the reward. And that was more of an anti-collector, totally anti-set collecting sort of mindset of how much money can I make off of this, instead of saying, hey, I want to complete this because I want to complete the set. The other big thing is with the set reward packs that we're doing now, the upside is pretty significant. You could get a common parallel, you could get rare parallel, you could get legendary parallel, but you can also get ultimates. So you could collect a Hoop Vision set that maybe costs 30, 40, $50 total to get the whole set. And then you hit a $1,000 ultimate. The best you could have done previously is hit a jersey serial or a number one, and maybe you get, $100 or $200 for it. And so the upside is so much higher now with these pack rewards. Not everybody's going to get something good because that's sort of the nature of the beast. But you're getting it instantly. You're locking the set. You're getting this reward instantly. But the huge part that I don't think people were thinking about is if there are 1,129, 1,184, whatever the total number is. I can't do math right now. For like a common set, since like they're to 1,000 and they have the parallels, we make these packs to the maximum. 1149. There you go. So for Hoop Vision, for example, we made 1149 total packs. We're never going to get 1,149 Hoop Vision set completions. So I don't think people realize that all the remaining packs are getting distributed out to the people that completed the challenge and held the set locked through the end of the season. So there's only, there's still 90% of the packs. So if, let's say there are, at the end of the season, let's say only 300 people did this, that would leave 649 total packs. Of that 649, so let's say it's 300, every person would get guaranteed 2 more packs, and then the other 49 would be a randomized draw between the 200 people to see. No one will get more than one of those 49 packs. So some people will walk away with 3 extra packs. And you can see in Clam, same exact thing. And the pack marketplace low ass, $17, $18 for these. That's, if you go back and look at most common set rewards, that's already higher than what you would get. So now you have this option of, I can rip it instantly and chase after these ultimates. I can sell on the marketplace and make money instantly, or I can just hold the set and hope that I get something even more later on. And when you think about like a hollow icon, if only 20 people complete it, there's still 30 packs left. You're going to get guaranteed another legendary just for having that set completed, which was never the case in the past. And then the last, another big thing is all the best players in the product are in the drops now. People have the chance of hitting them.
Yeah.
Like so often, Wemby and Steph and LeBron and the best players in the challenge rewards, and they're so prohibitively expensive for collectors. Now they can hit them and feel the rush like that we did back in Series 2 of hitting a LeBron or hitting, all these amazing things. So, huge stuff.
Yeah, I prefer it. If Cooper would have been a rookie last year, I wouldn't be able to have a Cooper MGLE because 5 whales would have bought all of the pieces you need to get the Cooper, so that their Cooper that they got would be more scarce, which I get it, but it's a lot less fun as a collector, as a holder. So do you know something? I think some people, I'm not saying this is you, Frampton, but like, I don't think everyone realizes that like some sets are still open and there will be a pack for those sets as well.
Correct.
That might be something to update on the website somehow, but what do you think the hollow icon pack, that thing's got to be loaded, right?
Yeah, so we talk about if you scroll down a little bit more, it'll say legendary sets or rewards. Where rewards get spicy a little bit higher up. Yeah, right here. And we literally say their first line, no legendary sets that fully released. So Top Script still has more to come. Mojo still has more to come. Hollow Icon still has more to come. And of course there'll be Rookie Rev. And so those set reward packs are going to be absolutely loaded with, top tier parallels and ultimates and craziness. And for a legendary set, hollow icon, 50 total. Rookie Rev is even less than that. I think it's 44 total.
Yep.
And so is 50 pack just a placeholder? Oh, there will be 50 total packs made.
Because that's how many editions there are.
That's that. Yeah, exactly. That's the total possible mint. So 44 plus 5 plus 1. Or is it 50? God, I always get myself mixed up. Whatever the number is, you guys know. I should be drinking an energy drink instead of a water. But we make as many reward packs as there are possible set completions, and we know we're not going to get 100% on anything, and it's possible that only 10 people complete and lock the hollow icon set. And if that's the case, each one of those 10 people are going to get guaranteed 4 more of these packs.
So 49. So Mojo could be 49.
49. There you go. Yeah.
And hollow icon.
Yeah. So 49 total. So, if you think about it, if only 10 people or 11 people complete it, you're going to be getting guaranteed legendaries with a high chance at ultimates just for holding and locking that set and holding on to it through the season. So you're getting present value and you're getting future value for locking the set. And it's instant gratification because as soon as you complete that challenge, you get that pack. You can open it, you can sell it, you can trade it, you can do whatever you want with it. You have that immediately. You don't have to wait a whole week. There's none of these mind games of like how many people are going to complete it. Oh, I need to jump in at the last second. And then people pay this huge premium. And all this money goes into this challenge that could have been going across many other places. And so the data we're seeing so far is extremely positive. And I know that this community doesn't like change, and there's so much change that happens from year to year. But we really do feel that this is a change for the better of the experience and the product. And I think people will come around once they start getting showered with packs at the end of the season for completing these sets and start hitting some of these big things that are still hanging out in there. Like it's possible that some of these rookie ultimates just stay in there and gets to the end of the season and there's 10 packs left, and maybe you're making $200-300 in the pack marketplace for people that are trying to chase these one-of-one ultimates. You're going to probably wind it, for the people who are looking at it as a money thing, these people are definitely looking at a way that they're going to make way more than they would have if it was a typical set reward. Yeah, there's a Skyline.
The net Skyline is still chilling in a $17 pack.
Yep. But once again, there's still a lot of, packs that are out there because people need to complete the set. Right. And so like, obviously it was a big swing to do something this big of a change to set completion. But the bottlenecking just completely destroyed people's sort of drive to complete sets, and that is so against like everything we want to do. So we'll see how this all plays out, but so far so good. And to the people that don't like this or upset by it, I hear you, I get it. It's a big change. I just ask you to have an open mind and let it play out. And if it doesn't play out the way you're hoping, maybe this isn't for you. But I will say maybe the other way wasn't for a lot more people. And so we'll have to see where we get to the end of the season. That's the other thing. It's open all season long. So like if you get to the end of the season, you're like, I'm going to go back and complete Who Vision. Might as well do that. See if I can hit something in the pack or sell the pack or just get myself in line to potentially get more packs. You can do that at any time. It's not like, hey, I missed this 1 week window and now I'm screwed on this set for the whole season. Like I remember back when I was doing Cool Cats, I missed the Luca challenge. I completed every other challenge in Cool Cats, but I had to pay thousands of dollars to get that Luca because I missed the challenge. That's a terrible feeling just because I missed that one window and I did all the other windows. And so we don't want people to have that feeling of like, oh my God, I missed out. I'm out. No, you didn't miss out. It's all out there. Go for it. Collect the set at your leisure. If you don't have, and that's the other thing. Not everybody has the disposable income to just like drop it all on a set at once. So do it over time. complete the set at your own pace. And that's part
Right.
of why this is great too, is like collect the set at your own pace. Don't feel the pressure of having to get into these pump and dump battles with whales that are trying to get these challenge rewards to a low mint and are, getting it up. But the challenge reward is your favorite player in the world. Now you're priced out of getting your favorite player in the world, and that feels like shit. And so, it was just so important that we fix that for the product.
Right. Well, Matt, we have exceeded an hour.
As we always do.
Yeah, I know. I got to get to work. You got to get to work. You've got thumbnails to render or something.
Plenty to do always.
You got an Australian to talk trash to. So
yes, always.
We appreciate your time, man. It's super fun to have an employee come on and talk to us. I think it helps a lot of people feel more confident, and yeah.
I just loved. Thanks for having me. I love talking about it. I feel like there's so many things that go unknown. I love sharing those tidbits because, like, there's so many things like, why are they doing this? Why aren't they doing this? And like, there's always a reason. Like everything that the community talks about, we've talked about. We see it all. Like we know what's being talked about, and so it's nice to have a platform like this to come on and talk about these things and answer questions and all that stuff. And glad I could be on the 76th episode as a 76ers fan, and maybe I'll be back for another one soon, and maybe even for number 100 if
let's do it, bro. Let's do it. Okay, thanks a ton. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, all the support. You guys have a good, safe day, and don't forget to set your damn fast break lineups.
Yes.
We'll see you guys soon.